Pick the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on Fantasy Alarm and Bettor Sports Network YouTube. Got Jon Impemba with me today. I am Dan Servodidio. We got a Football Friday on today's show, giving out some bets, props, picks, touchdown predictions for NFL Week 13 Sunday slate. How you doing, Jon?
I'm doing pretty good. Like you said, the NFL season continues to roll along. It's kind of funny to think about how much preparation and work we do preparing for the start of the NFL season, and now we're only mere weeks away from the playoffs and the regular season being over. So it's pretty wild to think about how quickly it comes and goes.
I know, taking stock of, changing opinions from the beginning of the season on teams, on players. We've already had multiple coaching changes that I know I will get to on for my betting picks today. The opinions that have changed since, we're in week 13 now. This is now, multiple months in that teams are just different now. And, I remember back in the beginning of the season, we're talking all right, which teams are you looking to bet on, which players, but things change. Yeah. Injuries, as we know, but, these coaching changes are just players popping up, breaking out, players busting, it's crazy. So if you guys have any of your own picks or bets you want to throw at us in the chat today, definitely do that. We welcome all other opinions on this show. We are not always the end all be all to betting here. We have our wins, but we also have our losses. So if you got differing opinions, you disagree with one of our picks, definitely throw them in here. We already got a question here, a comment here on YouTube. Smokey the Cat, he's always in here with his same game parlays. Looks like he's got another one here. He's saying, "What's up, guys? Just back from vacation. Awesome back from vacation. Came back strong. Cowboys. This was, I guess, last night. Yeah. Cowboys." CeeDee Lamb touchdown, Pollard touchdown, and DK Metcalf touchdown. Awesome to cash that, get all those touchdown props in there.
Done early, right? In those games, pretty much all in the first quarter and a half. I think those all hit. So
yeah, and that was a higher scoring game. Usually, we don't
certainly we're sweating out the Cowboys' decision making process at the end of that game to throw on third down there instead of running the ball to kill the clock. I don't know what that was about, but
They I think if it was anybody else besides, Geno Smith and the Seahawks, I think they would have deserved to lose that, to let up like a touchdown late to just because they kind of
the way DK Metcalf was burning them all night. You think they want to give them another shot. They got the midfield right away, and then the drive stalled out on them.
But. Yeah. Me and James Grande on yesterday's show gave out some winners. He had the Pollard anytime touchdown, so shout out to that. I hit on Jackson Smith and Jigba and Brandon Cooks overs on their receiving yards. Also hit on Geno Smith anytime interception prop. Thankfully that cashed.
I had that for our sleeper picks.
There you go.
We gave out on the Quick Out Fantasy Show, myself and Andrew Cooper. Coop had the Pollard anytime touchdown. I had Geno over half a pick. So glad to see both of those cash. So yeah, it's a good Thursday night football game for us at the Fantasy Alarm house here.
Yeah, if you took the over, you cashed, and if you took the Seahawks, you cashed on those bets. So, all right, we turn our attention to Sunday because we got a lot of interesting games here. I'll let you go first here. The board is yours, Jon. Where are you going with one of your game picks for Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans here at home -3. This is their fourth straight home game or something like that. Something like a wild scheduling, advantage here for Houston. They have Denver coming in, and a lot of people riding high with Denver, the way they've kind of rattled off a bunch of wins and beaten some good teams here. But I still think that offense in Denver has left a lot to be desired. And I do think Houston's defense is coming around a little bit. I know they lost, obviously, last week to Jacksonville, but I think ultimately this is going to be too much for the Denver defense to handle with the way Houston's passing offense has been. I like them at home here, so I'm going to take Houston -3.
Yeah, I was looking at this one too. And on Wednesday, me and Howard were talking, early leans for the weekend. And this is one he threw out there. It was taking the Texans because of the fact that they've, they are at home for
third,
fourth
third
game in a
straight
row.
game, third week in a row home game. So
I think that means something for a rookie quarterback in Stroud who's just feeling comfortable. And yeah, Denver just there's a 5-game win streak for them.
Yeah, but they weren't like great. Not all of them were easy, right? There was some ugly kind of wins there, some lucky late wins there. So I think maybe their luck runs out a little bit here, having to go on the road this week.
Yeah. Smokey in here, he's got a touchdown parlay he wants to throw at us here real quick. $5 to pay out for $11.50. He's got Pat Freiermuth, Austin Eckler, Evan Ingram, Travis Kelce, and Rachaad White on the touchdown parlays. Not to say it won't hit, but if there's one guy that you think might not score out of that group, who would it be?
Probably Freiermuth.
Listen, the Steelers they changed up some of their play calling with Canada gone, and he was a guy that was involved early and often. So
my problem with that game, and we'll talk about our touchdown props in a little bit later, is more so it was great to see what Kenny Pickett did last week. 72% of his passes completed, 270 yards passing. No touchdowns, though. They all went to the running backs, and I feel like when they get into that red zone, they're going to do what they can to probably take the ball out of Kenny Pickett's hands to prevent him from making any poor decisions and lean on the running attack, which has actually been very good this year. Najee Harris really starting to come along. We know what Jalen Warren can do in that red zone. So I think if they get down into a spot where Freiermuth would be in range to score a touchdown, they'll probably just hand the football off in that aspect. So that would be my one, probably one that would maybe miss, but obviously we're cheering for you here, Smokey.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, well, why not? All right, one of my picks here, I'm going Titans plus 1.5. It's at like +1, but I want to get the 1.5, just a little safety there. But -115 on BetMGM. But I do think the Titans can win this game outright. Overall, I just look at this spot where the Colts, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble offensively in this spot. Losing Jonathan Taylor is obviously big. I know Zach Moss had filled in nicely at the beginning of the year, but the Titans have a really good rush defense, and I think the Colts are going to have issues running it in this spot. It's going to put more pressure on Minshew, having to lean on the pass more. The Titans are just kind of like a defense that funnels to the pass there. But I'm all on the other side. I'm scared for the Colts run defense, which has gotten worse since they lost their defensive tackle, Grover Stewart. He's still suspended. And over the past couple of months, they've been trending down. And over the past 5 weeks, they're last in the NFL in rush defense, which is trouble, I think, against Derrick Henry, who could have a big game here. But I also look at Vrabel, who's got really good numbers, against the spread, but straight up as an underdog, winning outright as a dog. And here he is as a home dog. Titans are 4-0 at home this year, and they're looking to get this win after losing to the Colts on the road earlier this year. I think it could flip a little bit to the Titans side here. So yeah, give me the Titans here to cover, but I do think they could win outright if you want to look at the money line.
Yeah, I won't really argue too much with you here. I agree 100%. Actually, Howard and I had a really good, a little back and forth debate there on Derrick Henry and sort of the viability of him this week, because of Howard kind of interpreted the second half usage of Henry as a bit concerning. Really only had 5 carries last week. I kind of went and broke down sort of the fact that they only had like 2 offensive drives in the second half of that game last week. Carolina really burned out the clock, and when they did get a late drive in the fourth quarter, it was Derrick Henry that got a lot of the touches in that game. But I'm with you. I think Tennessee runs all over to this team here. Controls it. I don't think they're going to put too much pressure on Levis to beat the Colts here through the air. The one flip side of that is I understand the perspective of Tennessee and their run defense, because I was talking about it too when we were doing the DFS show. And then I went and looked, and in week 5, I think it was week 5 when Indy played Tennessee, Moss had like 140 yards rushing. So like, he had like his 2 big rushing games this year actually against Tennessee and Baltimore, 2 teams you figure actually would have good run defenses. Maybe he just caught them off guard that day, but I'm with you. I think Tennessee takes this one, and I too am a believer in Derrick Henry this week having a pretty big day.
I did look back at that, and the one thing I noticed was, I forget his name, but The Colts' really good defensive tackle was out that game, and which probably had a lot to do with the fact that they gave
they don't
up
track Leonard anymore either. So changes.
They don't. Yeah. So, well, that's on the Colts side of things, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Leonard, yeah.
Oh, right.
But still, I mean, that's even more for Derrick Henry and this Titans offense having success. All right, what else you got going?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles +3 here.
Let's go.
Yeah, listen, I don't really understand why they're home dogs in this spot. The 49ers, their defense has certainly had its own issues. The Eagles defense certainly we expect would have been better, but they've kind of played subpar at times this year. But I don't know. You're gonna have Brock Purdy go on the road across country against Philadelphia in a tough spot here. I'll take the 3 points with the Eagles here all day on that situation. So is this maybe more of a feel spot than a performance spot? You could argue either way, but I think both offenses here are probably going to move the football. And push comes to shove. I mean, we just saw Philadelphia beat Buffalo. I'll take Eagles with the points in this one.
Yeah, this is a line where obviously, as an Eagles fan, I am feeling disrespected here.
Right?
The
Yeah,
Eagles are home underdogs. But also, I wonder if this line changes at all once we get closer to kickoff. If some late money comes in on either side, but especially Philly, like if they start to get some late money, maybe the spread moves down to 2.5, 2 or something like that. I don't know. I think it's a lot of disrespect for the Eagles as home dogs here, but Vegas, I guess the line is telling us that Vegas just sees the 49ers as the better overall team right now. I know the Eagles, they probably should have and could have lost to both the Chiefs and Bills these past 2 games. So I get that, even though they have the better record. But we'll see. I'm glad I was afraid, whether it was you or if Howell was on today, if you guys would have thrown out the 49ers spread here. But I'm glad that's not the case.
No, I looked at that and I thought that was right away disrespectful. So I was all in on taking the Eagles with the points here.
All right. All right, I'm going to the Falcons-Jets game here. Give me the under. This is, the under, the total is low here at 34. It's actually down to 33.5, I see, but I think it's low for a reason. This is going to be one of those just ugly games. We know what the deal is with the Jets, with Tim Boyle under center.
Yeah.
The offense, I don't think is better, markedly better with Boyle instead of Wilson, but their games in general usually hit the under because of their really good defense. So that's what's going to set the tone here. The really good pass defense and secondary, which I think is going to really give Desmond Ridder some issues here, who, he still has his struggles. He's still been very inconsistent, and he's been worse on the road here this season than at home. The Falcons in general have been worse on the road this year. So I think that the Falcons offense still is either way going to lean on the run because the Jets defense does allow a lot of rushing yards, and they have that elite pass defense and secondary. So it's going to be a run heavy game script from the Falcons. And the Jets offense too. They're in a rough spot because they rank last in the league in both rushing and passing DVOA over the past 5 weeks. And I don't think it's getting better, even though the Falcons defense has its issues, isn't the best, but I don't think the Jets are going to be a team to exploit that. Interesting stat here, by the way. Credit to Action Network. If you read their stuff, they dive into some against the spread numbers and totals and all that to find some trends over the years. Games that have a total at 37 or below since November 2019. They are 82% to the under since over the past handful of years here, when the totals are lower than 37. And this year, when we've had totals at 38 or below, the under has cashed 83% of the time. So I think this is an under for a reason. There's been a number of times this year, usually with the Steelers involved, where I took unders on their low totals because it's just that low for a reason.
We were all in on the under on that Patriots Giants game. So, the teams that didn't want to win. So I don't know if you've peeped our touchdown prop segment here, but I got something for this game as well. So.
I noticed, and it makes me feel good about this pick. So
we'll see what happens.
We'll tease there because
when we get down there,
it's a touchdown prop, but it's not what you think. So
it's not what you think. My other play here, I'm going to go with under as well with Saints Lions here. With the Saints, they have no wide receivers, so they're going to have to move the ball on the ground. You can't really run the ball against Detroit. I'm going to go with the Lions probably winning this game, but I think the under is more of a sure bet if I had to pick one, just given the struggles the Saints are going to have offensively in this one.
Yeah, the Saints offense is in a tough spot here with with their wide receiver core all banged up.
Hill might be their wide receiver 2 this week. So
I read somewhere that they might, even though Sean Payton's not there anymore, they might just go with a lot of Taysom Hill, in the Wildcat.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're not going to score many points, I'm just going to take the under 47 on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't make an argument against that. I do. Yeah. Do you think I looked at the Lions, covering the spread there?
It was like 6.5. I think it was.
Right? I think it's at 4.5 or 4.5.
That's not bad. I felt like I saw it a little higher, but if it's only that low, I still may. Yeah, I guess it's at 4. I'd probably consider doing the Lions -4 as well.
Yeah. I looked at that one. I do think they're looking to bounce back after losing to the Packers on Thanksgiving, especially defensively. I think they're going to be better in this spot, even though it's on the road. All right,
Goff did them no favors in that game, turning the ball over 3 times. So
no. All right, we got this is an unders show because I'm going with another under here, and it's Dolphins Commanders under 49.5. Okay. I realize the Dolphins offense can score in the blink of an eye. But I do think the Commanders defense, as bad as they've been this year, I actually think there's gonna be a lot better effort this week because they fired Jack Del Rio, their D coordinator. Ron Rivera is now taking over play calling duties for the defense. The first time he's done it actually since 2018 when he's with the Panthers as their head coach, but he's taken on play calling duties. I just feel like he's going to have a really good, mindset around the defense, but just getting a lot better effort from this defense, especially with the Miami offense coming to town here. I just think we're going to get a lot better effort there defensively. I realize that it's risky betting unders in Dolphins games, but I could also see them if the Dolphins kind of score and build a lead early on. That just kind of go on cruise control and lean on the run in the second half and just try to get out there with a win. So I think even if there's some early scoring, I feel like the second half will be more, lower scoring, slower paced. The Dolphins defense on the other side has improved with Jalen Ramsey back. They've been better. I know they just lost Jalen Phillips with his season-ending injury, which is a little worrisome, but overall, this defense has been better against the pass, specifically with Ramsey back, which, Sam Howell, he's getting sacked at a league high rate right now. And, even the Dolphins pass rush is still pretty good. Bradley Chubb back there leading the way.
You don't even need a good pass rush against the Commanders.
That's true.
He'll take the sack. It's okay.
That's true. And I don't have the specific numbers in front of me, but Washington home games have hit the under more often, I think it's a 60-65% rate that they've hit the under over the past few years here, and especially with Rivera in town, that their home unders just continue to cash. So that's kind of a trend to think about here. So give me the under. I just think it's a little too high, especially just with the Commanders offense on the other side of that Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm fine going there as well. Like we've talked a lot about with Washington. From a fantasy perspective, we say, Sam Howell does continue to put up good numbers, but that team isn't good. He's not a good actual quarterback. So, this could just very easily be a 30-14 game, where Dolphins win handily and the under still checks in. So I'm good. I'm good with that one for sure. We did just get word Joe Flacco is officially the starting quarterback this week for the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if that changes.
I thought that was gonna be coming.
I don't know if that changes your opinion of Cleveland plus or minus 4 and over under 40.5. They're in LA against the Rams.
Listen, I'm looking at Browns money line plus 155. I might take that.
Maybe, right? Joe Flacco probably better than what can't be any worse than we've seen there.
I did see some reports on Twitter from reporters, and maybe it was the Stefanski or whatever, saying that Flacco looks good in practice. He's looking good. He's throwing darts, and who knows? He might be feeling like this is kind of one of those games. It's like, oh, you forgot about Flacco. He's hashtag elite.
Right.
We'll see.
Mark wants to know what the line is on Flacco immediate torn ACL.
Rough.
We're not going to bet on injuries here, Mark, but he's old. So, but hey, as someone that has many shares of Amari Cooper and Divin and Njoku in fantasy this year, I'll take anybody that can throw a football.
I mean, it's definitely an upgrade over Thompson Robinson.
I would agree with you.
Merzilla, by the way, on YouTube here, Merzilla 304. I don't know what Pollard's reception prop was. Was it 3.5? Because he's saying that Pollard's 4th reception last night didn't count because it was a perfect horizontal lateral. He finished with 3 receptions. So it was his. I don't know. I wasn't up to date on his reception prop, but if it was at 3.5 and he should have had 4, maybe, then that's a tough beat.
Bad beat, yeah.
Merzilla's saying it was 3.5. So wow. That's a tough one, and especially because it's it's a caught pass, but it's technically a lateral. Rough. All right, my last game pick here. Before we get to some player props and touchdown calls, this is just a pure vibes play. Panthers plus 5.5. Fired their head coach Frank Reich. Basically cleaned house on the offensive side with multiple. Their assistants, Josh McCown fired too. Change in the offensive coordinator play calling here. I just think that they're going to come out, motivated because of Frank Reich not being there. I think Bryce Young is going to feel a little bit better. I expect a better play calling duties. We got Thomas Brown, who's the O coordinator, who had play calling duties taken away from him by Reich early this year. Now he's back as the play caller. I just feel like I hope they scheme stuff up, whether it's, RPOs with Bryce Young, whether it's, a lot more motion, some trick plays involved. I feel like they're going to surprise the Bucs here a little bit. And the 5.5, I just don't think the Bucs deserve to be this big of favorites either way. I know it's the Panthers and they've been terrible, but I don't trust the Bucs in this spot. So, we talked about this on Wednesday, me and Howard. And I knew if he was on the show, he'd probably throw out the Panthers here. Yeah. But some trends here that I threw out Wednesday, I'll just reiterate them here. 36 teams have made in-season coaching changes since 2004. In their next game after, with the interim coach now in place, those teams are 17-19 straight up and 20-16 against the spread. That includes early this year when the Raiders, came out and won outright with Antonio Pierce as the interim after the McDaniels got fired. Those numbers don't look great, 17-19 straight up, 20-16 against the spread. But you also have to take into account that these teams were terrible, beforehand. Right. And they weren't covering, especially the Panthers in this situation. I think they've won cover against the spread all year. So, but you just got to raise the expectations a little bit more that they're overperforming compared to what they've been doing. So that's just the trend for coaching changes. Since 2010, by the way, if you want a little bit better sample size, interim coaches in their first game as the head guy, 15-12 straight up, 16-11 against the spread. So it's been better over the past decade or so with those coach firings in their first game back. So, I think the Panthers here are who knows, they could win outright, but I'll take the plus 5.5. Why not?
Yeah, I mean it's a no bet for me. I don't want to ever bet money on the Panthers here, but I understand the appeal given the trends of betting there for sure.
Yeah. All right. How about some player props? And by the way, if you're looking for some more help in fantasy or for betting or for DFS this weekend, we got awesome stuff as we've been doing all year at Fantasy Alarm. You can get access to all of it with the All Pro subscription, expert access, one-on-one expert access in the Discord, the league sync, the lineup generator. I know we'll have best bets articles. We have all the DFS position coaches up there on Fantasy Alarm. We got red zone report, target report, wide receiver, cornerback report. All this you can get with the All Pro subscription if you haven't already. So definitely check that out for this weekend's games. All right, player props. I think we both got a couple Steelers to start out here, so I'll let you go first here with the no longer Matt Canada as the OC.
Yeah, listen, I'm going Najee Harris over 55.5 yards rushing. We know the Arizona Cardinals are, as Coop called it, a choose-your-own adventure when it comes to figuring out ways to beat them. You can run or you can throw, and the running game has obviously been very prevalent with the Steelers' offense lately. Both running backs are finding a lot of success, but Najee Harris has really started to come on here, gone over this total in 2 of the last 3 games. We know he's going to get double-digit carries here. He's had some long runs lately as well. I just like Harris and the Steelers' offense in general here at home in this spot against the Cardinals. So give me Harris over the 55.5 rushing.
Yeah, and then with Canada out, the change that they made, I forget his name, but the running backs coach is now the play caller for the Steelers here as the new OC. And yeah, I think last week we saw it. He gave Harris a lot of work. Clearly he sees, he thinks Harris should be getting more touches here. So I like that call.
Yeah, last 4 weeks, he's had a long run of 17 or more yards in each of those 4 games. So basically getting half the yardage we need in 1 carry per game there.
Yeah. I like that one. I almost went Najee Harris. I'm going Kenny Pickett on the other side, though, on the passing side of things. Over 18.5 completions. I think, they're going to go with that, giving Harris, more balanced look. But I do think that they showed some things last week where they wanted to get Pickett more comfortable under center with some throws over the middle. We saw Pat Freiermuth have that big game. But we saw Pickett and this offense where they weren't doing it much earlier this year, but throwing more over the middle, opening things up for both the run game and the passing game. More throws to the middle also opened up some more outside deep balls that he was trying to throw. So, but overall, he just looked a lot more comfortable. Had his best game of the year in terms of completion rate. 72% completion rate was last week. His highest of the year. Also had 24 completions, went 24 for 33. So over this prop. This line is low, 18.5, because he's only gone over it in 3 games, 3 of 11 games this year. So that's why it's low, and he's only averaging 17 completions. Yeah. But I have to change our perception on Pickett right now with the new play calling and this different offense, because I think we just have to raise a little bit more expectations. And it's clear last week, and I think it carries over this week, that Pickett is just feeling a little bit more comfortable passing-wise. And he's got this Cardinals offense, which is allowing the highest completion rate in the NFL this year, 70.2%, and allowing 21 completions per game. So I think it sets up well for Pickett to have some success here.
Yeah, I like it. I'm fine going it if you're riding that offense. And maybe a newfound passing attack there for sure. I'm going to go a passing attempts prop here. Every single week, they pretty much set Sam Howell's passing attempts at 30.5. It seems like he goes over it every week. I honestly don't know why it continues to be listed at this. The last 6 games, 44, 45, 44, 45, 52, 42. He's only got under this total 3 times all season as it is. We know they're going to be down. They're facing Miami here. They're going to throw because that's all they really do. So I'm just going to continue to ride this almost automatic win every single week. They gave us Sam Howell 38.5. I don't have anything else to say. He throws more than any quarterback in football. So I think it was against the Commanders. Was it the Giants earlier this year? Yeah, 50 straight dropbacks in that game. They just, I don't know. It feels low. I know Vegas is smarter than I am, and there's a reason why they set the lines the way they do here. But he goes over it every week, so I'm gonna go over it again here this week.
Well, listen, they're probably going to be trailing here against the Dolphins, which just adds in that game flow aspect of it has to be more passing. If it would be different if they were favored, and this was. You throwing out this pick, but they're going to be trailing. They're bound to be trailing in this game and having to throw more in the second half. So, I'm with you on there. Merzilla here on YouTube chat asking, do you like Javonte Williams at all having a good day against Houston? What do you think about that one?
He's definitely improved his workload and usage in that offense for sure. But the last couple of times we've rode running backs against Houston, it hasn't really worked out for us. We thought James Conner was going to have a big day. Didn't happen. We thought Etienne was going to be in for a big day. It didn't happen. So I don't know if scheme-wise Houston has changed the way they're defending the run, or if they're just personnel-wise gotten better. But, ETN did not have a good day. Connor didn't have a good day. If they're trailing in this game, how much work is Javonte going to get here? You seeded, the passing work again last week to Samaje Perine. So it's not something I'm betting. If you're looking for like a DFS dart or something like that, sure, but it's not. I'm not really expecting some like huge day to come from Javonte Williams here.
Yeah, the game flow aspect of it is one I was going to bring up, and I'm glad you did because it's if they are trailing, which the Texans are favored by 3, you put them as one of your bets because they could be winning by a touchdown or more at times in this game, and it could be leading to a more passing game script. And they've shown they like having Perine as that better pass blocker, third down back, pass catcher than Williams at times. So. Yeah, maybe if you're looking looking at his unders maybe for rushing props for Williams.
Trying to see like what the last running back. I guess Mixon. Mixon was 11 for 46 in that game. That was just kind of a shootout. Rashad White, did he have a good game against them? White 20 for 73 was pretty good, but for only 3.7 yards per carry. That was obviously the big 76 total point game there. So, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Javonte guy this week.
Is on BetMGM, his rushing yards prop is at 59.5. Seems a tad high to take the over there, but I'd probably just stay away either way.
I'm with you.
All right.
Staying in that game, though, I do have CJ Stroud over 33.5 pass attempts. So,
what do you like about that one?
Just again, the trend of pass attempts from CJ Stroud. A game that we think is going to be competitive, second highest game total on the board. He's gone over this total in 4 straight games. So I'm going to assume they keep throwing in these competitive games that they're going to be in. And then certainly not shy about Stroud when it comes to protecting him. He started the season with back-to-back games of 44 and 47 pass attempts there. So if he's got to chuck it, they'll let him chuck it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go to the Panthers side of things here in that game with the coaching change. I think one guy that's primed to see his snaps and see his touches just, drop and maybe go away altogether at some point this year is Miles Sanders. There's already been kind of like a changing of the guard there with Chuba Hubbard out snapping him and out touching him in that offense. But this week with the coaching change, I do think there's a greater chance that he just isn't used a lot in this offense. Frank Reich and Deuce Staley both gone here. And Deuce Staley, the running backs coach, he was with the Eagles with Sanders, and he was kind of, you could tell he was still giving Sanders a lot more, snaps and usage over Hubbard. But I feel like that's going to change now with Staley out, especially Frank Reich also with the Eagles with Sanders. I feel like he could, with both of them gone, Sanders doesn't have a ton of guys in his corner in this backfield. And the Panthers are, they're looking to next year. And if Hubbard gives them more juice, I feel like he's going to start getting more usage and more rushing attempts for sure in this backfield, as he's already been, out snapping him in games already. And I look at the Bucs. They have one of the better run defenses in the NFL this year. I think it's like 4th or 5th least rushing yards per game against teams this year. And Sanders, I mentioned, his snaps and touches already trending down. He's been under this prop, under 28.5 rushing yards in 5 of the last 8 games anyway. Yeah. So I think with the coaching change, it even trends more towards him going under this prop.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Again, they clearly phased them out. They can't really run the football anyways. They haven't been able to run the football all season long. And now you're going up against Tampa Bay. They got Vita Vea there in the middle, obviously a pretty good run defense. So, I'm 100% on board with that play.
All right, another prop I'll throw out here in that Eagles-49ers game. I was trying to pick which prop to go with on the 49ers side of things because I know as an Eagles fan, I've seen it every week, but if you just look at the numbers, they are struggling against tight ends, and they're struggling to cover the middle of the field, whether it's slot guys or tight ends. So George Kittle over 3.5 receptions is where I'm going with this. Thought about a Deebo Samuel prop instead, but I'm going Kittle because if you look at the past 4 games against the Eagles, tight ends have had 5, 7, 7, and 6 receptions against the Eagles, and it's been someone top tier tight ends like Kittle. There was Travis Kelce was one of those. We had last week was Dalton Kincaid. The Eagles are really struggling against tight ends because of their weaker linebacking core, which has now had multiple injuries to the linebacking unit. And now dealing with a Zach Cunningham injury, who's expected, he's doubtful this week. So that's a tough spot to be in. The Eagles have started to play their trade asset, Kevin Byard, who they traded for, playing him on tight ends, and he's done okay, but he's also smaller than these guys. So these tight ends are still getting their receptions. Their yards might not be as much, but it's tough to keep putting Byard on there, and they want to use Byard, deep to use on other receivers, which they might opt to do here with, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey. I feel like they might use Byard in other ways, and it just might be a lot of receptions for Kittle in the middle of this Eagles defense, which has been a spot to target all year against the Eagles. They're really good against the run, have really good cover corners on the outside, but in the middle, their linebackers, their safeties have not been a strong point this year. And this line is low at 3.5 to me. I get why it's low because Kittle is only averaging 4.1 receptions per game this year, and he's only over it. But he has been over it in 3 of the last 5. He started the year slow, but he has been over it in recent games. So I just think it's a little too low. So I'll eat the juice minus 155 on BetMGM because I do think he can have 5-6 reception day here.
Sure. Yeah, no issues with that at all. Again, we know how soft they've kind of been in the middle of that field all season long. Attacking them, again, their secondary on a name value, everybody thought it was going to be pretty good this year, but they really have not. I'm going to go with a plus odds prop here that I was surprised to see that it was plus odds, and that is Amon-Ra St. Brown more than the 7.5 receptions here. He has got a great matchup, but this is one I'm sure Bender would have given out as well. Targeting Alontae Taylor has been one of his favorite things to do all season long. The slot corner there for the Saints has been giving up one of the more reception happy corners that there are in the NFL. And then you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown here, the last 6 games, 9, 8, 8, 6, 13, 12. So in 5 of the last 6 games, he's gone over this 7.5 total, and you're getting plus odds on it as he's going to be lined up against one of the worst cornerbacks in football. The target share for him continues to be great, 11, 11, 9, 9, 19, and 15. I mean, I understand I took the under in this game, and I don't think that the Saints are going to be all that competitive here, but they do throw the ball a ton, and the Lions do, and they pretty much only throw it to Amon-Ra St. Brown here. So you're going to give me plus 110 on the Sun God here. I'll go the over 7.5.
I love this prop. I love this call. I looked at St. Brown's receptions. I looked at his yards. I probably should have gone there, but yeah, I think the matchup with Lattimore out and Alontae Taylor in is a great spot to target.
Yeah.
And yeah, his production, like this line is high, 7.5 receptions is high, but he's also been going over it plenty, as you said. So,
not high for him, right?
Yeah.
It's what it is.
It's not high for him at all. Yeah, great call in there. All right, my last one, another receptions prop here. Josh Downs at 4.5 receptions. Give me the over on this. This is another one where I think it's too low. And Downs this year, if it's been at under 5, I am taking the over, and it's been cashing because he now has 5+ receptions in 5 of his last 6 full games. One of the unders was he got hurt, and the other one was his first game back from getting hurt. So, but in his last 6 full games, he's been over this 5 of the last 6. Returned from the Colts, got back from the bye last week, and Downs looked great. It was him and Pittman being the top 2 heavy targets in this offense from Minshew. And Downs had 5 receptions on 13 targets last week, which I see those targets, and that is a really good sign that Minshew is looking his way a lot. It's basically him and Pittman in this passing game right now. And Downs has a favorable matchup here in the slot against Titans slot corner Roger McCreary, who's got a lower PFF coverage grade. Our wide receiver cornerback matchup report over on Fantasy Alarm was checking that out earlier, and I think it's McCreary had like a 70% completion rate against him this season. So it's great for Downs here, who's getting a lot of underneath throws, but easy completions from Minshew a lot of times. So yeah, give me the over on his receptions.
Yeah, I'm good on that one. I think both wide receivers again are in great spots here for the Colts this week. Knowing no Jonathan Taylor, I think Minshew throws the ball a little bit more than we're accustomed to him seeing so far this year, and obviously a great spot to do it against Tennessee. So I'm with you.
Yeah, and we know that Tennessee, as we were talking about earlier, that they're good against the run, but they funnel a lot through the air. So yeah, I think it's a good matchup. All right, those are some props for Week 13. We got to get some touchdown calls here, so let's get to our touchdown prediction. Touchdown. All right, John, we teased it earlier. I gave out the under in Jets Falcons. You got an interesting touchdown prop in this one.
I do. I have a no touchdowns being scored in this game here at plus 2,200. Obviously, this is a huge dart throw, but I'm just looking at the inept Jets offense here going up against a Falcons team that, again, can Arthur Smith stay out of his own way consistently? Probably not. They don't really throw the ball all that well. Bijan has obviously looked very good, and the Jets have struggled a bit recently against the run. But, I can envision this just being a spot where the Falcons maybe do move down the field a little bit, and then they just stall out. They don't get in the end zone here. We're going to see a lot of field goals. And I don't know what the Jets are going to do offensively here. So I'm going to go no touchdown scored between the Falcons and Jets here for a nice plus $2,200 payday.
I am all about this. This is where it's at. I know you like to find these plus money touchdown props, and this is another level here.
This is another level. Yeah. I've been giving out some first touchdown props the last few weeks that I've done this show, and they've come through for us here. And then I just looked at this match and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Falcons on the road fighting Tim Boyles. You know what? I don't think anyone's going to get in the end zone here. So we'll ride. We'll ride with it.
So we're looking at a 15-9 final score.
Yeah,
there,
field goals.
Yeah,
field goals and safeties. That's where we're at.
All right. I'm going. My lock and load pick every week. If the odds are right, I'm going with it. Tyreek Hill. It's minus 140 on BetMGM. This should be higher. He has 10 touchdowns this year, and he's scored in every game but 2 this season. It's just a weekly thing. Even though I took the under in this game, Commanders, Dolphins, it's just kind of one of those, until it stops cashing consistently, you got to throw out Tyreek Hill's anytime touchdown prop. And this week, the Commanders have allowed the most passing touchdowns in the NFL, 28 over their 12 games, averaging over 2 per game. I think Tyreek Hill is one of those 2 this week for the Dolphins.
I'd even sprinkle some money on the plus 500 first touchdown with Tyreek.
Yeah.
So, you get some, get a nice little 5-1 on him just taking, some 60-yard bomb that Tua throws over the Commanders defense there into the end zone. So,
when you're watching Red Zone and they flip to the Dolphins game, it's
you just know
than not, it's like, oh wait, we got a long Tyreek Hill touchdown coming.
Anytime they flip to the Dolphins and they're at midfield, you're like, all right, here we go, big play by somebody's on its way. So I'm with you there. I like the play. I looked at the first touchdown prop there as well. I saw you had the anytime already, so I was like, we won't double it up. I'll just mention it when he talks about his anytime here. So yeah, I think both play.
I'm glad you're on board with it then.
Yeah, 100%. Getting down some actual touchdown props here, not no touchdown props. Derrick Henry anytime touchdown here too. The only thing keeping me from doing a first touchdown from Derrick Henry here is because I don't think they score first. I think that I do think that you're going to see the Colts score first in this game. I kept on going back and forth. Maybe Pittman getting a touchdown here. He's a plus 600, I think it was, for the first touchdown in this game. But I do think Henry eventually scores in this one at plus 105.
Okay. Yeah. You love these first touchdown scores.
They've been cashing.
You hit on Derrick Henry last week, right? First touchdown.
Yeah, I hit on Derrick Henry last week, and I should have had the ETN one too, and Trevor Lawrence ended up sneaking it in from the one, which was unfortunate for me. And then the week before that, I hit both first touchdown props. It was Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, both scored first. So
okay. If you're looking at Colts first touchdown scores, you had Pittman plus 900.
900 even better. Yeah, I would probably do the Pittman plus 900 for first score if I was putting some.
Zach Moss is plus 450. He's the favorite, betting favorite.
Yeah.
Downs is plus 1,000. I said I like his receptions. Not as much like a touchdown guy though, Downs. But he could get in the end zone first.
Yeah, Pittman had a ton of yardage and receptions last week. He just didn't get in the red zone. But no Taylor. I think they might throw the ball a little bit more. Get that like 10-yard touchdown catch from Pittman in this game.
Yeah. Kylan Granson plus 1,800. Who knows?
If Coop was on the show, he would have gone there. So.
All right. I'm gonna go with this is more of a longer shot, I guess. A.T. Perry, anytime touchdown, plus 320 over on Caesars. We talked about this earlier. Chris Olave is in concussion protocol. I doubt he plays. Rashid Shaheed is likely out too. They already have Michael Thomas on IR. Out of necessity, A.T. Perry is kind of the guy left over. It's either him, Lynn Bowden, or Keith Kirkwood as like Derek Carr's top 3 wide receivers in this
I couldn't
game.
believe in 2023 Lynn Bowden was making plays last week. So
I know I don't think I fully realized he was on the Saints.
I did not realize he was on the Saints. Actually, I don't even. I mean, what a weird route in the NFL that guy's taken, right? I mean, a 3rd round pick getting traded like the same year he was drafted, and basically out of football for a bit, and like here he is making plays in 2023. So
quick tangent. I'm in a dynasty league, and I drafted him in a rookie draft when he came out of college out of Kentucky, solely because he was wide receiver and quarterback eligible in our league because he was playing that basically wildcat at Kentucky his last season there, and there was thoughts like, oh, maybe he could play that kind of role, and he's not a good quarterback, but he was playing that, kind of like a Taysom Hill. Maybe that's why the Saints have him now.
Honestly, it's weird that guy, with all of his versatility and his athleticism and even his size, was never able to like figure it out, right? Figure out
right
to use. So,
but back to A.T. Perry, he only had 1 catch last week, but he did have a touchdown the week before, and he's been getting more playing time now. Ever since Michael Thomas went on IR, 74 and 84% of the snaps in these past 2 games with Thomas out. But his targets and his red zone usage, his overall playing time is now going to be a lot more with Olave and Rashid Shaheed probably both out this week now too. So, and the Lions allowing the 5th most passing touchdowns this year. So I think someone on the Saints could score. I'm taking the dart with A.T. Perry, but I could easily see it being, whoever else. Maybe it's Jawan Johnson for all I know.
Sure. I could see it. I mean, somebody might score in that game, right? Yeah. I mean, they have no options. My last touchdown call here, Courtland Sutton, anytime TD, had that touchdown streak broken last week. I think he picks it right back up in a high-scoring game here against Houston.
Easy.
I'm just filling the role of Howard Bender here, going Courtland Sutton touchdown props.
He has been going with that route. Mm-hmm. All right, so some touchdown calls here, and if you missed any of it earlier in the show, we gave out some of our game bets and player props for Sunday's games. Should be a fun weekend in the NFL, so enjoy it, and good luck with all your own bets. After us right here, Jon Impemba coming back again with the NBA DFS live show with James Grande on Fantasy Alarm Bettor Sports Network YouTube. So definitely stay tuned for that. And we'll be back on Monday, me and Howard talking some Monday Night Football and reacting to the college football playoff selections, which are after this weekend's games. We got Sunday. We'll find out the final 4 teams. So we'll be doing that on Sunday, talking some odds and futures. All right, that's about it for us. Good luck with all your own bets and fantasy this weekend, and we'll catch you guys later.